Hello, my name is Frankie Bradshaw and this is my friend Atri Banerjee.
Hello!
And we both work in theatre. We're going to show you how to make your very own theatre at home.
So you can play out amazing stories for your parents or your siblings.
But what is theatre? Well, it's a place where everyone comes together to tell stories. Performers act them out on a stage for an audience to watch.
Theatre goes back thousands and thousands of years. Way back to the cavemen in prehistoric times, who used to act out stories of their hunting expeditions for the rest of their tribe to watch. We're all telling stories all the time, and always have been.
So now we're going to show you how to make your very own theatre, so you can perform your own stories at home.
You really only need 3 ingredients: a space, a story, and an audience.
Let's start with ingredient number 1, the space. Before we decide what story we want to tell, we need to build the theatre. Deciding what the theatre looks like, what's on stage to tell the story with, and what the characters might look like or what they might be wearing is all part of my job because I'm a set and costume designer. So I'm going to show you how to make a theatre just like the ones that I have here. You're going to need a couple of big pieces of cardboard or a big cardboard box that you can cut up. Maybe you've got some really big cardboard boxes that you've used to move house or something, or old cereal boxes work really well. You'll also need a pair of scissors, some tape or some glue to stick things together, and then very important will be some old empty loo roll rolls and some wooden skewers that you use for a barbecue that you can buy in supermarkets. Other useful bits will be coloured paper, paints, pipe cleaners, tin foil, anything that will add a bit of kind of pizzazz to what you're going to be making in any sort of crafty selection that you've got at home. You can see from these two that they've got a front wall with a big hole cut out, and then they've got 2 side walls which I have just taped down the side to keep the whole thing standing up nice and strong. You can keep the whole thing quite small so that it just kind of sits on a table, or you can make it quite big like I have, so that you can get right inside it when you perform your story. Then we need to make it look a bit more exciting so that it's ready for a performance. That one's much too boring. So what I've done here is painted a load of stripes on it so that it looks a little bit like a circus tent, and I've added some bunting and a flag at the top.
Wow, Frankie, this looks amazing! Now, it's my turn. I'm the director. That means I get to fill this amazing space with all sorts of stories. I am totally the boss and the most important person!
Wow, rude.
Okay, well, maybe not the most important. We all work together in theatre.
Thank you.
So ingredient 2, the story. What kind of story do you want to tell? Maybe you want to tell a story about the most incredible day you had at school. Or maybe the story comes entirely from your own imagination. Maybe it's about dragons, or monsters, or ghosts. The story can be as big or as small as you like. That's the amazing thing about theatre. It's all up to you and your imagination. There are so many different ways to tell your story.
You could use your toys to create some characters, like I've got this little dinosaur guy who's quite good. Or what about this huge, terrifying bunny rabbit? Or you could do some face painting, and then you can be whatever character you can think of. Or we're going to show you how to make a few of your own little cardboard puppets.
I've been thinking a lot recently about brothers and sisters. Maybe you've got a brother or a sister, or both. Do you fight lots? I've got a story to tell you about 2 sibling goats called Jemima and Jerome who fight all the time. The story takes place in India, and along with the 2 goats we have an old peasant farmer, an evil bandit, and a battered old car. So what do we need to bring the story to life? Frankie, do you think you could show us how to make this so we can tell the story?
Sure thing. The story takes place in India in a place called Assam. So we've got a lovely desert which I've made out of some long tall grasses and a nice big palm tree at the side. And all I've done is cut these grasses and the palm tree out of a bit more cardboard, and then I've painted it and just masking taped it directly inside the box. If you use masking tape, it just means that you'll be able to reuse the theatre for telling lots of different stories, because you'll be able to change the locations because you haven't glued it in. So then the next thing we need are some characters. In the story that we're going to perform, we've actually got two goats who are siblings who are called Jerome and Jemima. And we've also got Gurjeet the peasant and an evil bandit. As you can see, I've made these characters into little cardboard puppets, and this is where your loo rolls and your barbecue skewer is going to come in handy. So what you need to do is take your empty loo roll and you're going to make a number of little holes in it, as you can see. And you do this by poking in a pair of scissors and just giving it a little twist. But if you're not feeling confident about that, maybe ask an adult to help you, because it can be a little bit tricky and we don't want you to hurt yourself. So once you've got your holes poked, that middle one is going to be for the barbecue skewer to slot right in. And so then, hey presto, you've got a body. Then next we need some legs. So that's what these other holes are for. I've actually found some old drinking straws which I've cut in half, and they are just going to slot into the holes at the side, just like that. So once you've got all four of those on, you can then attach a head. So I've just drawn another head onto a piece of cardboard, and once that's cut out, you can just glue it directly onto the tube and then you'll be ready to go. In order to decorate them a little bit so that they've got a little bit more personality, I've also added a bit of knitting wool so that they've got some little beards. You can do whatever you like to whatever animals you're creating, and it doesn't have to be animals. Again, it can be anything that you can imagine. So now we've got our theatre and our set and our characters. Is there anything else that we need?
Almost. We just need a battered car.
No problem. I've also just made this out of another barbecue skewer and another bit of cardboard and then painted it on. Okay, I think we're just about ready to perform. Time to hand over to Atri.
Last thing you need, ingredient number 3, is an audience. Show off your amazing story to your family and friends. You can take it in turns to tell stories and present them to each other. Now, here's our story.
The Two Little Goats by Atri Banerjee. I'll tell you a tale set in Assam most pleasant, on the acres of land owned by Gurjeet the peasant. Among tea leaves and turnips lived two little goats, who spent all their time at each other's throats. It's a common known fact that a sister and brother will often be tempted to fight one another, and though all such siblings are tight bonded by love, few can avoid the odd kick, headbutt, or shove. These two kid goats, well, they stuck fast to this rule. They shouted, they kicked, they were really quite cruel. Jemima was older, she kicked with her hooves. Jerome was fleeter, he had all the moves. Then one day in a flash to the farm came a bandit. Gurjeet, he was old, he just couldn't stand it. The bandit picked up poor little Jerome and rode off on his horse far, far from home. Jemima was heartbroken. She loved her kid brother. She wasn't quite sure if they'd ever find one another. She regretted those days of kicking and bites. She wanted him back in her home and her sights. The bandit rode off with Jerome in his basket. Jerome was certain he'd soon be dead in a casket. But all of a sudden he heard a sound from afar. It was Gurj and his sister in a battered old car. Jemima leapt from the wagon, was quickly airborne, whacked the old bandit on his head with her horn. She rescued her brother, picked him up in a jiffy. Poor brother, well, he was feeling quite squiffy. I love you, dear brother. I had such a fright. Tears drenched his small beard. Let's never fight. And these two sibling goats, to this very day, have never once fought in any which way.
And there you have it.
Your very own theatre. Have an amazing time making your own.
Thanks for watching.
Bye!